Hello, it's Stuart from the Courtyard Cafe again. When we're working with the NVQ students, we always have a chat, see what's going on, what the guys are doing at home. And what became clear was that over the last number of weeks, a favourite TV programme with all of them was Britain's Celebrity Best Home Cook. And each day that we had a class, we had a chat about what had been happening in the previous programmes, and one of the biggies was when they made lemon meringue pie. Didn't go so well for them, and a lot of laughs, a lot of giggles, and we discussed how difficult it is sometimes to make some of the elements like the lemon curd properly. What I am going to do today is, for the guys, make lemon meringue pie, make the lemon curd, so that they can follow it at home and see just how easy or difficult it is for themselves. What I always try to do with cookery and recipes when I'm demonstrating them is show that it's not always absolutely essential to have the most complicated equipment. These individual lemon meringues are made using these, which are egg rings. They're designed for putting into a pan and frying an egg in it. You don't have to have them. I've got 2 of them, and I'm going to make 4 lemon meringue pies. The other thing I'm going to use is a pastry cutter. It's got the sharp edge, the cutting edge here, but what I'm going to do is use it upside down, and it's essentially the same sort of thing as an egg ring. Usually when I've made lemon meringues before, it's been in a pastry case. This recipe, which was on the BBC programme, uses a biscuit base. It's just digestive biscuits which are crumbed down. You can do that with a rolling pin, a food processor, whatever you have, and it's then mixed with some melted butter. The rule of thumb is that you use half the amount of butter, half the weight of butter that you have biscuit crumbs. In this case, it's 120 grams of biscuits with 60 grams of butter, and I'm going to melt this just in the microwave. What I've done is mix the biscuit crumbs with the butter. Just keep going until they change colour and they've absorbed the butter. I've also then got a baking sheet with the egg rings and the pastry cutters. And it's really just a matter of dividing the base up between each of the moulds. It shouldn't be too far off, and I'm just literally going to use my fingers. You do need to compress the base down, because as this sets and the butter hardens, you don't want it to fall apart when you take it out of the ring. What I want to do now is just finish that off, compressing the biscuit base down a little bit more with just the back of a spoon. We'll make sure that the little disc of biscuit base is packed well down. It should become fairly solid when the butter sets. But also what I want is to try and have a nice clean edge where the lemon curd that we make and put in here as the filling will actually look nice and neat. These are the ingredients for the lemon curd filling for the lemon meringue pie. There's 50 grams of butter, which I've cut up so that it'll melt down into the curd. The yolks from 3 large eggs, 4 large tablespoons of corn flour, and this is the zest of 3 large lemons. Here I have got 75 grams of castor sugar, and in this bowl I've got the juice of 2 large lemons, and finally 275 grams of water. In the saucepan I've got the remainder of the 275 millilitres of water, along with the corn flour which I had dissolved. To that I'm going to add the lemon zest, and what I'll do now on a medium heat is keep stirring that until it begins to thicken. You can feel through the whisk that and you can actually see the corn flour, lemon zest and water mixture is starting to thicken. So at this point I'm going to take it off the heat, let it cool slightly, and add the other ingredients. Firstly, I'm going to add the butter. Start to mix that through. Lemon juice.
Does take a little bit of mixing just to get it all smoothed out. Add the sugar. Finally, quickly and carefully include the egg yolk, and I'll mix that in through the curd. I've been stirring the lemon curd for a few minutes. It is starting to thicken again under a medium heat. That's very nearly it. Apart from being used for a lemon meringue pie filling, lemon curd is one of my favourite things to have on a slice of toast, and as you can see, it's really starting to thicken up now. I'll just speed up the cooling of the curd, because if I put it on the biscuit crumb basis at this stage, it'll just melt them if it's too hot. So what I'm going to do is spread it in this tray and pop it into the fridge for a few minutes. The lemon curd has really set up. What I'm going to do now is put it into the top of the trays. Then taking one at a time, spread the lemon curd at the top of the biscuit base. Basically, you just keep smoothing the lemon curd in until it's level in each of the little moulds. What I'm going to try to do now is slide these off the paper, to help, onto the baking sheet, because when I put the meringue on these, I'm going to, coming off okay, I am going to brown the meringue just using a gas gun. If they are sticking, you can use a knife just to release them. And that's the 4 out of their moulds, ready for the next stage, which is going to be the meringue. Getting into the final stages, I'm going to make the meringue topping. Get the mixer going, do speed, because what you want to do is get as much air as possible into the egg whites. As I was doing the other stages, I left the egg whites sitting out to let them come up to room temperature, because they do whip up better. See, already they're starting to aerate. I'm going to add about a half teaspoon of lemon juice, which will help the texture of the meringue. And now we're at the soft peak stage, because when you work the egg white, it will stand up in peaks. And at this stage I want to just incorporate the sugar in. I've got 180 grams or 60 grams per egg white, and I have 3 egg whites. You almost know when the meringue's ready because it takes on a beautiful glossy appearance. And that's about us. The meringue is ready, and what I'm going to do, just for appearance, I'm going to pipe the meringue onto the top of the little pies. The easiest way to work with a piping bag at any time is to roll it down, and as you get it, give it a twist. It's starting to come out. You can do this whatever way you want. You don't have to have a piping bag by any means. It works just as well if you spoon the meringue on. You can always get the little sharp edges that look good by using a fork. Even though I piped the meringue on, I think it's quite nice just to get the little points that when I brown the meringue will make little crispy bits. It's what meringues are like to me. And of course, if you don't have a piping bag, it's no big issue. Last sort of scary bit just to finish it is using a gas gun. Move it quickly because I don't actually want to burn the meringue. Just carefully give it a little bit of brown. Again, gas gun is not essential. You can do this if you're very, very careful with an extremely hot grill. On the baking sheet, just pop the little meringues in underneath and let them brown very, very quickly. And that, folks, is about it. Gas gun off, let that cool. Individual lemon meringue pies.